Welcome to the Battlegrounds Minion Funeral. It's a bittersweet day in the Hearthstone community as we bid farewell to some of our favorite cards. Pour one out for Kaboombot, our explosive little buddy, and let's spare a thought for less memorable minions like Upbeat Impressionist, who always seem to be trying a bit too hard to be relevant. The card we'll miss most is none other than our beloved Nomi, Kitchen Nightmare. Once a powerhouse in his own culinary elemental empire, now struggling so much that even Gordon Ramsay couldn't save him. I'll miss the days of picking a Nomi on turn 7, thinking I'm on a one-way ticket to first place, only to find myself evicted from the tavern by turn 10. Chat told me it's never Nomi, but I say to them, now it never will be. Nomi, now relegated to the archives of Battleground history, will join the likes of Boat, Amalgadon, Pogo Hopper, and Hogger in Battlegrounds Heaven. It's like they formed their own exclusive club up there. A quirky mix of legendary cards and ones that make you go, oh wait, that was a card? I don't remember that. Okay. Here's to the departed cards. May they find joy and laughter in their afterlife, where Boat and Pogo Hopper are probably sharing a joke about a pirate and a bunny walking into a tavern or something weird like that. Cheers to the memories, both legendary and forgettable. Hey guys, Slysssa here. Sorry for that dramatic funeral, but I think it was quite warranted for our good friend Nomi. May he rest in peace. Up in Battlegrounds Heavens, let's talk about what's coming up for Season 6. If you have not seen the other reveals, I will catch you up real fast. Spells are coming to Battlegrounds Season 6 starting December 5th. Your MMR will go back down to 0. You will need to get a new Tavern Pass. If you haven't seen some of the spells coming to Battlegrounds, Hearthstone's blog revealed these 3 spells coming, wherever my editor puts them. These are the 3 that are coming along with 40-ish more. Spells are very interesting because they all have a tavern tier, but along with that, they have a cost. So like you can see here, this recruit a trainee is tavern tier 1, so you can start seeing it in the tavern right away, but it costs 2. Spells are going to make the game really interesting. We were always reliant on counting by 3s when it comes to cost and how we spend money. And now the economy is going to be really different because there's all these ways to spend differently. There's a lot of 2-cost spells early on that you can use as kind of like a token. And I think it will definitely change up the game a bit and the way you think about your economy. So keep that in mind when you start playing on Tuesday, December 5th. So let's dive right on into my card reveals, my minions. I have a medley of different minions to reveal to you guys. So let's get started. First things first, this card is not new, but it is coming back, and it's very important to note. It's Masters of Reality, tier 5/6/6 that has a lot of synergies with elementals. He has not changed the way he works, but keep in mind that a lot of elementals have changed. Like we said, Nomi is leaving us, though he didn't really work with Nomi. He used to work a lot with Party Rock comp, which is no longer a thing. He used to work well with the Murloc elemental that scaled every time you played a minion. That's no longer a thing. So this card is going to feel different. He does have a lot of synergies with current cards, so I want to talk about that. Bejeweled Duelist, every time you refresh the tavern, your taunt's going to scale, so this will scale with that. Party Elemental is still around, not Party Rock, but Party, so if you're cycling with Party Elemental, your Masters of Reality will scale. Flourishing Frostling, that will work with your Masters of Reality. Emergent Flame, this one doesn't work as well, but it works at least once. If you buff one of your elementals with Emergent Flame, your Masters of Reality will buff. One big important piece I would say would be Rock. If you took Rock into an elemental style comp, with Rock scaling a bunch of different elementals when you cycle elementals, then Master of Reality would grow for every single buff to that board. Keep in mind, Rock was just buffed to buff himself. So now you could be scaling 5 elementals, meaning Masters of Reality could gain 5/5 every single time you cycle. Final card that Masters of Reality could have a really good synergy with is Sandstone Drake. Sandstone Drake is a new tier 5 elemental dragon. So it is a dual minion type. At the end of your turn, gain 1 attack and repeat for each card you played this turn. So this is going to be for your APM loving people. You're going to get 1 attack per card you played this turn. And keep in mind, this is end of turn. So this is going to synergize really well with Drakari because you'd get extra attack. And every time this scales up 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, Masters of Reality will scale up 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And with that end of turn effect, it's going to double up. So really cool synergies between the 3. And keep in mind, a lot of times with Masters of Reality, when you're trying to scale it, you're cycling. So that's going to work really well with the Sandstone Drake. Because Sandstone Drake is an elemental, you can get a Divine Shield with Surprise, the tier 6 minion. And that's important because you're scaling attack and not necessarily health. So you want a lot of attack with Divine Shield minions, or you want a Divine Shield to protect the minions with a lot of attack and not a lot of health. But keep in mind, you can also use this with a Caligos comp because it is a dragon. So when you cycle with Caligos, playing all those battle cries, this would scale as well, both attack and health, and then double attack because end of turn. If you're worried about this minion's health, you can also keep in mind Hunter the Gatherers, the tier 5 minion that scales whenever his attack scales. So you could be focusing on scaling your Hunter of Gatherers attack, and that would scale your Sandstone Drake's health, and then he would scale his own attack. Works really well together. And there's also Whelp Smuggler. If you haven't found Hunter of Gatherers yet, you can have that Whelp Smuggler in if you're focusing more on this dragon synergy as opposed to the elemental synergy. So yeah, you could do this in an elemental comp with Masters. You could do this in a Caligos dragon style comp, or you could do this with Menagerie. I could see this working with Team Master Theatar. So you're cycling and you're buffing this as your dragon, an elemental, and then you can have a Masters of Reality on your board as well. So when I originally recorded this, I did not know Team Master Theatar would be leaving us. So just ignore that comment. Instead, consider this card used with Nala the Redeemer. This is a card that was revealed by Swaybe yesterday, and I did not know about it when I originally recorded this. You can buff it with Rock, which we talked about, Bran, or possibly a new card called Spellbound Seafarer. So there's a new pirate in town. Upbeat Impressionist is leaving us, and now we have Spellbound Seafarer. Lovely pirate lady. After you buy 3 cards, get a random tavern spell. So keep in mind, you're cycling a lot with pirates. So this technically could help that Sandstone Drake because you're cycling. You could be buffing this up. Remember, this scales for every time you play a card. It doesn't necessarily have to be a minion. So it could be a spell. So Spellbound Seafarer could help out because you're cycling 3 cards plus a spell. So that's 4 cards. That could help scale minions that are dependent on how much you're playing cards. So yeah, I can see this card working really well with Underhand Dealer, Tethys, and Peggy. And if you don't have a Tethys yet, you could use Record Smuggler instead for that money to help you gain a lot of money to really utilize the Spellbound Seafarer. When I recorded this, I did not know about the new card Ensorcelled Fungus as revealed by Swaybe yesterday. This is a 1/2 that scales for each spell you cast this game wherever it is. My dogs are really thrilled about this card. I think it's safe to say that this might be a good card to use with Spellbound Seafarer. Moving on from Pirates, we have a couple of mechs coming in to replace Kaboombot. One of them is called Trembling Trolley. Trembling Trolley is a tier 4 0/9 with Avenge 3, get a random tavern spell. This is interesting because I don't see it having a lot of mech synergies because so far the spells I have seen be revealed are not mech-centric spells. They're all very just like money-oriented, and mechs don't really utilize money except for rolling for better cards. So I see this more as being kind of like Rylak, where it's this piece that you can utilize a lot of times with some more different comps that aren't necessarily mech comps, but since it has that mech tag, it's not going to be in every game, so you can't utilize it every game. That's kind of how I see Rylak, right? He's helps different battle cry comps, but you can't utilize it every time because beasts aren't always in. Rylak isn't really a beast card. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing Trembling Trolley so far. Let me know if you think I missed something with Trembling Trolley, how it would help other minion types. The most thing I could see it being with mechs is that there is a lot of tokens with mechs. So early on, you could just really start gaining a lot of spells if you have the replicating menaces or the undead minion, or, you know, all the death rattles could help get stuff. But I think you'd get out of it pretty quickly unless there's some higher tier spells that really help out mechs. Now the second mech I am pretty excited about. His name is Lighter Fighter, and he is a tier 4 5/1 with Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to the lowest health enemy minion twice. Now this is replacing Kaboombot, but I actually feel like it's the replacement for Dr. Boombox, which was the old school tier 4 tier 5 minion that dealt 7 damage twice to the nearest minion. And so the difference here is that we're dealing damage to the lowest health minion. So it's less of a guessing game than it was with Dr. Boombox. Dr. Boombox, you were trying to like kind of figure out where you could place this minion to hit Titus Rivendares or to hit off Leroy, stuff like that. But it was kind of a guessing game. Where this one is just always going to aim at that lowest health, which is nice. So less of a guessing game for the player using Lighter Fighter, but could be really annoying for opponents facing Lighter Fighter because you have way less control over your positioning and dealing with Lighter Fighter. So if you're playing against someone using this card, if it was Dr. Boombox, you could reposition to try to outsmart your opponent and make sure they weren't attacking your minions. But now you can't do that. You just have to scale your cards up that you don't want to get hit. And that's kind of hard to do with certain cards that do not scale well. But as I kind of stated previously, this can serve as tech to defeat Leroy or Titus Rivendares. So big mistake. I did not know that Leroy would be leaving the game when I recorded this. So this will not serve as a tech for anti-Leroy because Leroy is already dead. Something I'm excited about is more of the Kangor synergy and the Hawk synergy with that new tier 5 Hawk. This will work with that along with Kangor. I just always find Kangor Titus comps are really fun. Summon a bunch of these Lighter Fighters. We'll see what happens. And maybe Exodia will be back. We haven't seen Exodia comp in a while. Will this bring Exodia back? I'm not sure. All right, so our next minion is a Murloc. Wayward Grimscale, tier 4 Murloc, 1/5. 1 attack, 5 health. Whenever this is attacked, gain Venomous. So the way you're going to play this card is you're going to throw it in the back of your comp, far right, so it doesn't ever really attack. It gets attacked. You probably want to get it taunted up so that your opponent's minions will attack into it, but you want it to have a lot of health. That way, numerous minions can attack into it, and every time they do, it gains Venomous. It kills them off. You wave goodbye to their minions. This card is a very good anti-zap card. So if you think your opponent is running a zap to kill off your Titus, to kill off your Banana Slammers, to kill off your Mama Bears, to kill off the soul of your comp, you can throw in this Wayward Grimscale. And since it has very little attack, zap will go right into it and die. So this is a very good anti-zap card. Fun fact, didn't know zap would be killed in this meta. Zap is in heaven with Nomi, so Wayward Grimscale is in fact not anti-zap. And also, again, not anti-Leroy. Final card that I'm going to reveal today is the Nomi replacement card. Yes, Nomi is gone, but he's been replaced by a minion named Living Azerite. Living Azerite is a tier 4 4/4. Whenever you cast a tavern spell, elementals in the tavern have 1/1 this game. So it's scaling just like Nomi did in the fact that your minions in the tavern that are elementals are gaining 1/1. But the way you're doing it is different. With Nomi, you had to cycle elementals. With Living Azerite, you're cycling spells. So is this better or worse? Well, first of all, it's a tier 4, so you can do this earlier than you could with Nomi. So in that regard, it's better. And there's a lot of cheap spells. As we said, not all spells cost 3. Some cost 1, some cost 2. some cost 4, some cost 5. So like it could be a lot better. And a lot of the cheaper spells are kind of tokens. They might help you gain minions and stuff like that. So basically all the tier 1 and tier 2 spells are really good with this, but you're only getting 1 spell per tavern. The tavern isn't really offering you a lot of spells, so you're gonna have to cycle a lot in order to find more. One of the downsides I would say to this is when you're cycling elementals to scale your shop, you gain a big elemental usually by the mid game and especially by the late game. So you're spending 3 gold to buff and to have something strong on your board. Where in this case, you're spending the gold, but you're not necessarily going to have a big strong minion in your hand as you do that. You're just going to have a spell. So if the higher tier spells are helpful in getting a minion from the shop, then maybe it's good. But at the same time, you're going to have to maybe spend extra money to actually get those minions on the board. So that's kind of the downside of this. A card that has synergy as well is the new Landlubber Elemental Pirate that was revealed by Play Hearthstone blog the other day. It says the tavern offers an extra tavern spell after each refresh. So I kind of talked about this. There's only 1 spell per shop normally. So now there'd be 2 spells per shop. Better odds of getting cheap spells that you can cycle easily. There's also a tier 5 minion, Rodeo Performer, that has Battlecry Discover a Tavern spell. So if you had that with Brand, you can discover 2 tavern spells. Maybe they're going to help you with money or help you get those big minions. Those are all the cards I am revealing today. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what card you were looking forward to the most. Did I miss something? Did I miss a synergy? Let me know below. Make sure you check out other content creators' reveals coming up. Later today we have Jeef and some upcoming in the next few days. We'll link those below. If you want to check out these cards early in action, make sure you tune in on December 4th. A lot of your favorite content creators will be playing the game live early. We got Cece, Beaufort, Jeef, Krip, Pocky, me, Swaybabe, and Bill, WTY Bill, for the North Americas, competing from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific on December 4th. For the Europeans, we got RDU, Super JJ, Harry Potter, Goderkun, Shady Bunny, Zorgo, Natty, and Solary all playing same time, same place. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see some epic gameplay of the new season.
What does that mean?
Size matters, so people can check out what size they are by typing the command size. See if they're chonkers or dinkers or average or growers or showers. Chonkers, dinkers, average, growers, showers.